Welcome back. Day 10 of the federal trial against Sean Diddy Combs. And after a long holiday weekend, court is officially back in session. The heat is turning up. Diddy's former assistant, Capricorn Clark, is set to testify today. And I'm telling you right now, her testimony is absolutely explosive. But before we dive into that, let's recap what went down on trial day number 9. To get everyone caught up, we began with continued testimony from George Kaplan, Diddy's former assistant, who's been granted immunity. Kaplan testified that Diddy physically assaulted Cassie on a private jet and later instructed Kaplan to get creams to cover bruises on her face. He also claimed Diddy assaulted his girlfriend Gina with green apples. Kaplan ultimately left Diddy's circle because, in his words, he was tired of covering up things he knew were wrong. Then we heard from Kid Cudi, who described his brief relationship with Cassie. He said she called him panicked one night after Diddy found out about them. Cudi rushed her to a hotel, but later got a disturbing call from Capricorn Clark, saying Diddy and an associate had broken into his home. According to Cudi, Diddy rifled through his belongings, opened his Christmas gifts, terrorized his dog, and left before police arrived. Then there was the infamous Molotov cocktail incident. Cudi's car exploded. He said after that, he backed away from Cassie completely. We also heard from Mila Morales, Cassie's makeup artist. She described seeing visible bruises on Cassie's face and said she witnessed one assault in person. The defense questioned her credibility, pointing out she'd done paid interviews about the events. Next, Frederick Zamure, a hotel manager, testified about Diddy's strange requests, keeping rooms at exactly 75 degrees Fahrenheit and misting hallways with air freshener to cover bizarre smells. Finally, HSI Agent Josh Croft testified about extracting data from Cassie's laptop, though his testimony was mostly uneventful. But just before the day ended, the prosecution teased a major witness, Capricorn Clark. And if you know anything about her connection to Diddy's inner circle, you know why he spent the weekend feeling pressed. Weekend motions and legal fighting. Over the weekend, both legal teams filed motions, and things got intense. Diddy's defense wants to introduce photos and videos of Cassie looking happy and productive, claiming this proves she wasn't trafficked or controlled. They also want to strike damaging testimony, like Cudi's statement about the car bombing and his belief that Diddy was lying. Prosecutors pushed back, saying photos don't prove consent and that Cudi's belief is relevant. Today, an arson expert is also scheduled to testify about the Molotov cocktail. The defense tried to bring up partial female DNA found on the bottle, but the prosecution wants it blocked, calling it hearsay and misleading. The judge overruled the objection for now, allowing the report in, but reserving the right to revisit after a sidebar. Summary charts with texts, bank, and phone records are expected early next week. Back to court, Day 10 testimony begins. Judge, bring in the jury. Jury enters. Judge, welcome back. Call your next witness. Prosecution. The government calls Capricorn Clark. Capricorn Clark, testimony. Q, where did you grow up? A, born in San Francisco, moved to LA. Q, what was your relation to Suge Knight? A, He's the father of my friend's child. Q. When did you start working for Sean Combs? A. 2004 to 2012. Q. Were you kidnapped during that time? A. Yes. Q. Where did you first meet Mr. Combs? A. New York City, 2002. We were platonic friends. A headhunter later recommended me as a personal assistant. Q. What were your duties? A. Shadow him from wake up until night. Later became head of women's for Sean John. Then global brand director. Q. Where did he take you your first day? A. Central Park, after dark, with Uncle Paulie. Q. What happened there? A. He told me that because I worked with Suge night, if anything happened, he might have to unalive me. Defense objects, overruled. Q. How did you take it? A. I took it seriously. It had a lot of gravity. Q. Did Mr. Combs carry a gun? A. Yes, I saw one in my home. He told Chris Lighty about it, said he had problems with 50 Cent. Theft accusation incident. Capricorn was accused of stealing diamond jewelry in 2004, shortly after she began working for Combs. The jewelry was loaned from Jacob, the jeweler, Arabo. Q. What did you do? A. Called the office and told them to lock it down. Q. What did Uncle Paulie do? A. Questioned me for 3 hours, took me to Queens, searched my house, then took me to 1710 Broadway. Q. What was that place? A. A rundown building. He took me to the 6th floor, locked the door. There was a folding table, a heavy-set man chain-smoking. Q. What did the man say? A. I was there to take a lie detector test. He said if I failed, they'd throw me in the East River. Defense objects, sidebar, judge allows it to continue. Q. What happened during the test? A. Wires attached, asked if I stole the jewelry. He said he couldn't get a good reading and might still throw me in the East River. Q. Could you leave? A. Number Paulie said I had to stay. This lasted 5 days. Q. Did anyone else know where you were? A. Number. I was just trying to survive. Defense objects to mention of NDA, sustained. Q. After 5 days. A. They said I could return to work. Diddy never spoke to me about it. Life working for Diddy. Q. Why did you stay? A. If I left, they'd think I stole. Q. What were your days like? A. From his townhouse at 74th and Park in the morning to Daddy's house studio at night. 2 to 4 hours of sleep. Developed a stress condition. Q. Salary. A. $55,000. No overtime. Q. When you spoke to HR. A. They said I was owed $80,000. Diddy ripped up the paper. Q. Hotel stays. A. Weekly. With Kim Porter. Booked under fake names. Frank Black, Frank White, Jackie Starr. Q. Hotels. A. Intercontinental Buckhead in Atlanta. Beverly Hills Hotel in LA. Q. Did Mr. Combs ever speak to you again about the lie detector incident? A. Number. It was like it never happened. Q. Did you ever feel safe working for him again? A. Never. But I stayed because leaving felt more dangerous. Q. Did he ever threaten you directly again? A. Not with words, but through control, fear, and intimidation. Q. Can you describe the atmosphere around Mr. Combs during work trips? A. Highly secretive, tight schedules, code names, and a constant sense that anything could happen. Q. Who else was part of this inner circle you mentioned? A. Uncle Paulie, D-Rock, Roger Bronze, Ruben, and sometimes Paul, Uncle Paulie. These men handled his security, logistics, and personal matters. Q. Did you ever witness abuse or violence firsthand? A. Yes, I saw verbal abuse almost daily. I saw bruises on Cassie. One time, I heard screaming from a hotel room in Atlanta. When I asked about it, I was told to mind my business. Cross-examination, defense attorney, Ignolo. Q. Ms. Clark, have you ever sold stories to the press? A. Number. I've signed NDAs and was terrified to speak until now. Q. Isn't it true you had disputes with Mr. Combs over payment? A. Yes, because I was owed money, not because I wanted revenge. Q. You say you were held for 5 days. Why not call the police? A. I was scared for my life. They took my phone. I didn't know who to trust. Q. Did anyone ever physically restrain you? A. No one had to. I was mentally trapped. Q. And you waited over a decade to tell this story? A. Yes, because I was scared of retaliation. Redirect, prosecution. Q. Ms. Clark, what made you decide to speak now? A. Because it's time. Too many people were silenced. Cassie was silenced. I was silenced. I can't carry it anymore. Next witness, fire expert, arson testimony. The prosecution then called Special Agent Carl Redding, an arson expert, to testify about the Molotov cocktail that destroyed Kid Cudi's Porsche. Q. What did your investigation find? A. A glass bottle with gasoline residue and a burnt rag consistent with a Molotov device. Q. Was DNA recovered? A. Yes. Partial DNA consistent with a female contributor. Q. Was Mr. Combs's DNA found? A. Number. Q. Could the DNA conclusively identify anyone? A. Number. The sample was partial and not complete enough for identification. Defense tried to use this to sow doubt, suggesting someone else may have committed the act. But prosecutors emphasized the pattern of intimidation, regardless of whose DNA was on the device. Closing day 10. Tension rising. With Capricorn Clark's harrowing testimony and forensic evidence about the car bombing, the courtroom energy shifted. Both legal teams are preparing for a major showdown over what the jury can and can't consider, from past abuse to digital evidence and financial records. The judge has given deadlines for responses regarding Dr. Hughes's expert testimony, and a full battle is brewing over summary charts that will illustrate key connections. After the arson expert's testimony, Judge Franklin called a 15-minute recess. During that time, both legal teams huddled with their staff as tension in the courtroom remained high. When court resumed, the judge addressed several pending motions. The defense's motion to strike parts of Capricorn Clark's testimony was denied. The prosecution's request to admit text messages and photos as evidence was partially granted. The judge ruled that some texts that show Cassie expressing fear or seeking help will be allowed, as long as they are authenticated. Judge Franklin: We are not here to try the music industry. We are here to determine criminal liability under federal law. Keep your evidence focused and your argument sharp. Surprise announcement. Sealed witness. Prosecutors then asked the court to prepare for a sealed witness set to testify the next day under protective measures. This witness is believed to be someone who is part of Diddy's security or inner operations team and is expected to corroborate details about alleged trafficking and coercion. Defense objected, calling it trial by ambush. The judge responded, "You were notified of this possibility weeks ago. The witness will be heard. Prepare accordingly." Upcoming witnesses. What to expect. Day 11. Before adjourning for the day, the prosecution submitted a tentative witness list for Day 11, which includes a forensic accountant who will walk the jury through financial transactions allegedly tied to hush money and unexplained cash movements, a former driver who may have witnessed the movement of women and guests between properties, possibly a celebrity insider or music executive who had close dealings with Diddy and Cassie during the peak years of Bad Boy Entertainment. Day 10 closing statement. Summary: Judge Franklin. To the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard disturbing allegations today, and your job is not to react emotionally, but to weigh the facts. We resume tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Thank you for your service. As the jury exited, Diddy sat stone-faced, flanked by his attorneys. His legal team looked visibly frustrated as they packed up documents and discussed strategy for what's clearly shaping up to be a turning point in the case. Outside the courtroom, protesters and media gathered again, some holding signs in support of victims, others demanding accountability from the broader music industry. Outro: trial coverage continues. This was day 10, a pivotal moment in a trial that's exposing the dark underbelly of power, control, and silence in the world of entertainment. Stay with us as we bring you full coverage of day 11, where the government's case edges closer to its conclusion and the defense begins to signal its counterattack. Subscribe, turn on your notifications, and follow for more exclusive courtroom updates as this story continues to unfold.